The autumn wind drifted through the quiet neighborhood of Willow Creek, carrying the scent of falling leaves. The houses were old, memories older, and the silence even older than that. At the end of the street stood a faded white house, the paint peeling like fragile skin. Evelyn Carter's home for the last 52 years. Evelyn, a soft-faced woman in her late 70s with silver hair tied neatly in a bun, sat by the window in her wheelchair. Her hands trembled weakly as she held a thin wool blanket. She looked out the window, watching children ride bicycles and dogs bark at squirrels, life continuing without pause. But in Evelyn's world, everything had slowed. She lived alone. Her husband, Walter, had passed 6 years ago. Her son, Daniel Carter, had moved to Chicago, and though he called occasionally, he rarely visited. Evelyn whispered to herself, "Daniel, when will you come home?" Her voice broke, as fragile as her hope. Scene 2. The Son's World. In Chicago, Daniel Carter, a tall man in his late 40s with dark hair and sharp brown eyes, wore a sleek suit and tapped ruthlessly at his laptop. He worked long hours as a financial analyst, successful, respected, and constantly busy. But beneath the success was guilt. He had promised a visit in spring, then summer, then fall. Seasons passed, but he never kept his promise. His assistant knocked. "Sir, you have a voicemail from your mother's neighbor, Sarah Miller." Daniel stiffened. He played the message. Sarah's trembling voice filled his office. "Daniel, it's Sarah. I checked on your mother today. She fainted in the kitchen. The doctor says her health is getting worse. She needs you. She doesn't say it out loud, but she asks about you every day. Please come." Daniel closed his eyes. Guilt crashed over him like a wave. He whispered, "Mom." He grabbed his coat and rushed out. When Daniel arrived in Willow Creek after years away, the house looked smaller, older, weaker, just like the woman inside it. He knocked softly. After a moment, the door opened. Evelyn stared at him. Her eyes widened, and tears gathered instantly. "Daniel," she whispered. He swallowed hard. Mom." She lifted her hand to touch his face. "Oh, my boy, you came." Daniel knelt down and hugged her, his arms shaking. Evelyn held him, as if afraid he might disappear again. Sarah Miller, their kind neighbor, stood in the hallway smiling warmly. "I'll give you two some time," she said, and quietly left. Daniel remained on the floor, holding his mother. He felt the bones through her frail body. "I'm here now," he whispered. Evelyn closed her eyes. "I prayed for this every night." Scene 4. The Weight of Regret. Hours later, they sat in the living room. Daniel noticed the old photo frames on the wall. Pictures of him as a child, birthdays, high school graduation, his father's retirement ceremony. He smiled at memories he had forgotten. Evelyn was the first to speak. "You must have been busy." Daniel winced. She wasn't blaming him. She was making excuses for him. That hurt more. "I should have visited more, Mom," he admitted softly. She stared at her wrinkled hands. "When your father died, the house felt too big, too quiet. But I kept waiting for your voice to fill it again." Daniel's chest tightened. "I'm sorry." "Don't be," she whispered. "Life pulls us in many directions." Daniel lowered his gaze. "I should have made time. I'm your son." Evelyn smiled sadly. "Yes, you are. And that is enough." But Daniel knew it wasn't enough. Not anymore. The next morning, Dr. Hughes visited. A middle-aged man with kind eyes and a calm voice. He examined Evelyn carefully. Daniel stood anxiously nearby. After the checkup, Dr. Hughes pulled Daniel aside. He spoke gently. "Your mother's heart is weak. The fainting spells will become more frequent. She doesn't have many months left, maybe less." Daniel's breath caught. He felt like the floor had crumbled beneath him. He stared at the doctor. "Isn't there something you can do?" "Comfort," Dr. Hughes replied. "Love. Presence. Those matter more than medicine now." Daniel wiped his eyes roughly. "I just got here. I wasted so much time." The doctor squeezed his shoulder. "Then don't waste what's left." Scene 6. The weeks that followed. Daniel didn't return to Chicago. He stayed. Every morning, he helped Evelyn to the porch, where she loved watching the sunrise. Every afternoon, they cooked simple meals together, although she mostly watched while he did the cooking and teased that he needed more salt. Every evening, they talked for hours. One night, Evelyn smiled softly. "Do you remember the storybook I used to read to you?" Daniel laughed. "The one with the brave fox." "Yes," she chuckled. "You always said you wanted to be brave like him." Daniel looked away. "Maybe I wasn't." Evelyn touched his hand. "You are brave now by being here." A lump formed in his throat. Scene 7. A hidden box. One rainy afternoon, Evelyn called him from her bedroom. "Daniel, could you bring me the wooden box from the closet?" He found a small oak box covered in dust. Inside were letters, dozens of them. He picked one up. They were all addressed to him. His hands trembled. "Mom, you wrote these?" Evelyn nodded. "Every birthday. Every Christmas. Every time I missed you too much." "Why didn't you send them?" She smiled weakly. "Because I didn't want to bother you. You had your life. I didn't want to pull you back." Daniel broke. He cried openly, tears falling onto the letters. "I should have been here, Mom. I should have known." Evelyn held his face in her trembling hands. "And yet, you're here now. That is all my heart ever wanted." Scene 8. The last walk together. One crisp morning, Evelyn whispered, "Daniel, will you take me to the old oak tree?" The oak tree stood behind their house, her favorite place, where she used to read while young Daniel played in the yard. He helped her into a wheelchair and pushed her outside. The air was cool, fresh, gentle. They reached the tree. Evelyn closed her eyes, breathing deeply. "I used to dream of sitting here again with you." Daniel knelt beside her. "I'm here, Mom. I'm right here." She opened her eyes. "Make me a promise." Daniel nodded quickly, tears already forming. "Anything." "Don't let regret build walls around your heart. Life is shorter than we think. Love while you can. Forgive while you can. Visit those who wait for you." Daniel lowered his head. "I promise." She smiled. "Then I am at peace." Scene 9. The final night. That night, Evelyn rested in bed, her breathing shallow but peaceful. Daniel sat beside her, holding her hand gently. She whispered, "Daniel, do you remember how I used to sing you to sleep?" He nodded. She began humming, soft, shaky, but full of warmth. Daniel laid his head near her and listened. It was the same lullaby she had sung when he was 3, frightened of thunderstorms. Tears slid down his cheeks. "Mom, thank you," he whispered. "For what?" she asked faintly. "For loving me even when I didn't deserve it." Her eyes soft. "A mother's love does not count faults. It only counts moments, and this moment is perfect." Her breathing slowed. Her hand grew lighter. And with a final soft sigh, Evelyn Carter passed away peacefully. Daniel held her hand against his heart and whispered through tears, "I'll keep my promise, Mom." Scene 10. After the goodbye. A week later, the house was quiet again, but this time, Daniel wasn't leaving. He cleaned the home, fixed broken shelves, repainted the kitchen, and kept every picture exactly where it had been. Sarah Miller visited often, bringing him food and company. "Your mother would be proud," she told him. Daniel smiled sadly. "I hope so." He took the wooden box of letters and placed it on the living room shelf. Every morning, he sat on the porch with coffee, just like his mother had loved. Every afternoon, he visited neighbors, helped them with chores, and offered company to the elderly on the street. Every evening, he sat under the oak tree, remembering her words. And slowly, Daniel Carter became a different man, softer, kinder, more present. His mother's last promise lived inside him. Final scene. 1 year later. A year after Evelyn's passing, Daniel organized a small community gathering at the oak tree. Children played, neighbors shared food, and laughter echoed through Willow Creek. Daniel stood by the tree with Sarah beside him. "I spent years chasing the wrong things," he said quietly. "But she taught me something. Love is the only thing you can't postpone." Sarah smiled warmly. "She'd be proud you learned that." Daniel looked at the sky, soft with evening colors. "Mom," he whispered, "I kept my promise." And for the first time in years, he felt whole.